I think that all of us have different versions of reality. So sometimes one of the easiest ways of dealing with challenging people is to see that they've got different versions of reality. And you can kind of like, look, this is a different version of reality. But we all have varying truths. And a lot of our truths are based on our perceptions that have been kind of given to us when we had a theta brainwave in our childhood, when we just absorbed absolutely everything like a sponge. So that might have limiting beliefs and thoughts and perceptions that we have about ourselves that can become what we might call trigger points. So you never know when you stand on somebody's internal trigger point until you've done it. And unless you've done some kind of level of personal development and self-awareness, then you also don't realise that we all have our own trigger points. And those trigger points can take forms of what you might call archetypes or sub-personalities. If you look at it as a kind of there's the conscious you, there's the you that kind of like travels through the world. But we will also have protectors, like sub-personalities that protect our vulnerabilities. And these vulnerabilities are quite often like a childhood element of ourselves. So if you think about our thoughts being in layers. So the first layer might be a protector. So say, for example, if I go and have a chat with my boss and I feel that my boss is being patronising to me, and I have a trigger point where I have a wounded child self that was always humiliated by a particular teacher at school, always made to feel stupid, maybe was in the special needs group at school, there will be protectors in the way of that child having any level of criticism that could invoke pain like they had experienced in the past. So one of my protector sub-personalities might suddenly talk to my boss as if I was a teenager. Didn't? No. Why? Why are you saying that? There may be a level of sensitivity that kind of like comes up, which would make me a particularly challenging person. Or it might be that this instigates my inner critic and I feel victimised. So my inner critic is like, see, I knew you were useless all along. And that voice comes up in my head and then I have to take time off work. So what was suddenly like a just very simple, could you do that like this instead of that? Suddenly becomes a catalogue of shame or guilt or lack of worthiness, and then a protector to stop you feeling those feelings because of how you felt them in the past.